Nicholas, a cloud support engineer here at the AWS office in Dublin. Today, I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot DNS validated ACM certificates that are still pending validation. Let's get started. Before we begin, let's make sure that all FQDNs specified in the certificate's domain scope are domain names that you have registered. You have access to the DNS database for those domains. If you use Amazon Route 53 as your DNS provider, you must use a public hosted zone and not a private hosted zone. After you have addressed these prerequisites, we can now dive in. After logging into the AWS Management Console, navigate to the AWS Certificate Manager console. Then select the List Certificates page. Here you can see all the certificates that are requested in this region. Choose the certificate that is still pending validation. Under Certificate Status, we can see that the status of the certificate is pending validation. Under the Domain section, copy the CNAME name to your clipboard. A CNAME record must exist for every domain name specified in the certificate's domain scope so that ACM can validate domain ownership and issue the requested certificate. In addition, the same CNAME record also must be publicly resolvable. Open a command prompt and query the CNAME record copied like this. We can see that the CNAME record is not resolved. Navigate back to the certificate under ACM and then select Create Records in Route 53. To verify that the CNAME record is now in place, navigate to Route 53 and select the public hosted zone for the domain. If you use a different DNS provider, insert both the CNAME name and CNAME value into the DNS database according to the guidelines of your DNS provider. We can see that the newly created CNAME record is now in our DNS database. Open a command prompt again and query the CNAME record once more. We can see that the CNAME record is still not resolvable. So what is happening? After inserting the certificate CNAME record inside our public hosted zone, we now must make sure that the same hosted zone is configured to provide authoritative responses to DNS queries. Open a command prompt and run the following command. We can see that at the moment there are no authoritative name servers for our certificates domain. Let's go back into the command prompt and query the name service of the parent Apex domain. Unlike before, the output of the dig command now returns the name service of the Apex domain. To make the CNAME record of our certificates domain resolvable, we must delegate authority from the parent domain to the subdomain. Copy the name service of the subdomain's hosted zone to your clipboard. Navigate to the hosted zone of the parent Apex domain and then create a new NS record. Paste the name service in there. Now, let's query the CNAME record of our certificates domain once more. We can now see that the CNAME record can be resolved. Go back to ACM and select List Certificates. We can see that our certificate has now been issued successfully. So now you know how to troubleshoot DNS validated ACM certificates that are still pending validation. Thanks for watching and happy cloud computing from all of us here at AWS.